chasing stars and holding you. I can't see the end, but we'll see it through.
We have
Dangerous times, don't fly too high.
saw a little bit of there.
Be sure to keep the ground in sight. Fly forever if you keep it tight. Love the world and keep the sky on your mind.
As always, everything we discuss is for entertainment and is speculation. Please like and subscribe, and definitely join our discussion in the comments. If you're ready, let's get into it. Hello, everybody. Oh my goodness, please let's get into it. I have been over here struggling to get this live going. So I'm jumping in and just giving this a try. I've been wanting to go live for a while and talk to everybody about this Idaho 4 case. So that's what I'm planning on doing today. And I was sitting over here because if you saw my community post, I tried to do this yesterday and I turned my laptop on and I got this horrible error message. I knew it was bad when I walked into we have a local guy who works on computers. I've been going to him for years. And as soon as he opened it, he was like, oh no, that's not good. So I had to get a whole new drive, which I was surprised that it was like probably about 1/10 of the cost of getting a new computer. So we went that route and he was able to fix it yesterday. But the bad news was, with a whole new drive, everything's erased off your computer. So I wasn't thinking like it wouldn't read my camera, it wouldn't read my microphone, all that kind of stuff. So I was over here struggling with my sound for a while, but it seems like that's been going on a lot lately with everybody with different technical issues. But what else is an update I can give you? My baby bunny that has been in my backyard for the past couple summers. She's had a second litter, but I think she had them in my front yard, so they're like hopping all over the place. And now there aren't any left. I saw a cat on my outdoor camera last night. I wanted to go out and catch that thing. I was so mad, but I've been doing that and just trying to get everything set up around here so I can stream more. All right. I saw Lori in the chat earlier. Let me see where let's see. So I wanted to say hi, Lori. And anyone else, if you're listening, please say hello. If you happen to watch my Walk and Talk Wednesday, I took you down to our harbor area. And while I was walking, I always try to pick something either about the Idaho 4 case to talk about or another true crime topic. And I was talking about how someone was reading one of Brian Koberger's research papers, and I wanted to pull that up, but I don't have it pulled up. But I did hear somebody reading it, and he cited a case where it looked like he was trying to put in some support about prosecutorial misconduct. And he cited this case for Noura Jackson. So I looked that up, and it's not majorly profound, but I think it's interesting what happened in her case and that he would cite that because it might be a little similar to what he went through. So I found this short little video. Let me make sure.
If you enjoy this,
Hold on. I'm going to make sure I do this right this time. I hope. We're jumping in. Remember, we're jumping in. I'm jumping in. And I'm still learning. I hate wearing these headphones, but I have to hear my sound, I guess, if I'm going to play something. I didn't have that issue before, but like I said, everything kind of reset. With my computer. So it is what it is. All right. So this guy, he's going to tell us, he's going to analyze this case, and I'm going to pop in every once in a while because he leaves out some of the details, but he does get to the prosecutorial misconduct part of it. So I thought we could listen to it together.
check out my podcast on YouTube, Bella Grande Media. I will put the relevant links for those items in the description for this video. First, I'll go through a brief background. I'll move to the timeline of the crime, then offer my analysis. Noura Jackson was born on March 17, 1987. In 2005, when she was 18, she lived with her 39-year-old mother, Jennifer Jackson, in Memphis, Tennessee. Jennifer, who worked as an investment banker, had divorced Jackson's father when Jackson was a baby. Now moving to the timeline of the crime. On June 5, 2005, Noura Jackson called 911 at 5 a.m. She said, "I need an ambulance right now. Someone broke into my house. My mom is bleeding. She's not breathing." When the police arrived, they found the body of Jennifer Jackson on the floor of her bedroom. Jennifer had been stabbed 50 times. She was naked and had a wicker basket over her head. The police thought maybe this was because whoever killed her did not want to look at her face, like somebody close to her. Usually, when somebody covers the face of a murder victim, that means the murderer was a relative or a lover or something like that, and not a stranger.
Okay, so there is a lot of another thing that makes this case similar to the Idaho 4 case is it was all circumstantial. Everything in this case was circumstantial. So if Carlos was here, he would say, well, it's not pointing away from her. The evidence isn't pointing away from her, it's pointing to her. So that's the first thing right there, is the way that they found the mother with her face covered. And I wanted to say hi to Truth and Justice, True Crime. Oh, Anna D. Hi. Thanks for stopping in. Good to see you.
Investigators noticed broken glass on the kitchen floor. It had come from a door separating the garage and the kitchen. The door had three horizontal glass panels. The middle one was broken out. At first, they were confused as to why the assailant didn't break out the one closer to the lock. Upon closer inspection, they realized there was a hidden lock near the second panel, one that was not visible from outside the door. How did the assailant know the lock was there? None of the neighbors had seen an intruder that morning. Investigators talked to Jackson's on-again, off-again boyfriend. He had called her at midnight on the night that her mother was murdered. He told the police that he hung up the phone before she answered. After this, he went to sleep in his residence, which was 90 minutes from Jackson's home. Jackson said that she discovered her mother's body after coming home from being out all night. She had attended various parties, drove around alone, stopped to get gas, and stopped at a Taco Bell. During her initial interview, she failed to mention she also stopped at a Walgreens just after 4 a.m. and bought first aid tape and liquid bandages. This is about an hour before.
Yeah. So this girl got roasted during her trial. None of her family supported her, and it just seemed like it was days and days of the trial where everybody in her family got up on the stand, and because she she was a partier. She would get in trouble. She was using drugs. She was out all night. She doesn't deny those things. But the other thing that I think he's going to mention pretty soon is that her father was also murdered, and her father owned a limousine company, and it seemed like his clientele were in some shady, like, or off the norm businesses, adult businesses, and he would blackmail people. So there is a reason there, could be, for someone else, to be after something. And then I think he's going to talk about too uh how her father's death kind of makes it look like there could be a reason for the mother's death. But this girl had a lot of things that didn't make her look good.
She called 911. The police noticed that she had adhesive tape between her thumb and forefinger on her left hand. This was covering a small cut. She would later explain that she cut her hand on a broken beer bottle, although she told friends something different. This case was assigned to a 40-year-old prosecutor named Amy Wyrick. She created a theory about what had happened. Jackson was upset because she did not want to follow her mother's directions, like Jackson was rebellious. Jackson murdered her mother so she could steal money, which she could use to continue her party lifestyle. So there's two parts to the theory. Jackson was rebellious and greedy. This seemed like a far-fetched theory. Daughters don't.
So then that becomes the narrative, right? So that's what the prosecutor's doing, coming up with a narrative. Sound familiar?
Don't murder their mothers very often. But the prosecutor was convinced, due to a few other circumstances. When Jackson turned 16, she started communicating again with her father. He owned a convenience store in Memphis. He was shot and killed at that location. His homicide was unsolved. Noura Jackson had been arguing with her mother about selling a few cars that Jackson inherited from her father after his murder. In addition, Jackson's estate was worth $1.5 million. Jackson had something notable to gain from her mother's murder. Jackson was arrested and charged with first-degree murder on September 29, 2005, as she was completing a babysitting assignment. She was unable to pay the $500,000 bond, so she sat in jail for 3.5 years awaiting trial. DNA found in the bedroom where Jennifer Jackson was murdered came from 2 or 3 people. The police could not identify these people. The DNA did not belong to Noura Jackson. There was actually no physical evidence tying Jackson to the murder. Noura Jackson's trial started in February of 2000. No physical evidence tying Jackson to the murder.
Yeah, that's going to happen a lot. So there wasn't. Oh, yeah, you're welcome. Yeah, it is pretty similar, no DNA evidence, right? There was going to be everything in his car and everything, in the apartment and office, and nothing except for that movable sheath. Now, in her case, there was nothing, like nothing. And especially if they're going to say, well, she did have a cut on her hand that night, and she really didn't give a good explanation of where the cut came from. She changed that a few times, so nothing really looked good, going her way. But with a cut, you would think if she was in that room, there would be some of that evidence in there. And I was saying, when I noticed I was muted, the defense attorney during her trial had all, I can't say all, but bagged up pillows, bagged up comforter, bagged up all the objects that were in the bedroom, and just like she kept saying there wasn't any blood evidence on this, and she would add it to the pile. It was very dramatic, the way that she did it. So yeah, so no DNA evidence, and 2 other unknown, these were female DNAs that they didn't test. And I don't know if he's going to mention it, but the mom also had a clump of blonde hair in her hand, and they didn't bother to test it. And I watched, there's a 2020 episode about this case. You can find it on YouTube if you wanted to watch it. But Nancy Grace was talking about it, and she was like, how she is. She's like, well, the defense can test evidence too. So because the prosecution didn't test it. And I guess the reason they didn't, they were like the chain of custody, the way that they didn't have a solid chain of custody for that item. So they said it wouldn't have been able to have been used in court anyways. Isn't that just a good little reason right there? Convenient. That's the word I was looking for. Convenient reason. Yeah, the 2020 was, how they are. They told a good story. I think he's adding more of the analysis part of it. All right, let's keep going.
Murder. Noura Jackson's trial started in February. Identify that Jackson was murdered came from 2 or 3 people. The police could not identify these people. The DNA did not belong to Noura Jackson. There was actually no physical evidence tying Jackson to the murder. Noura Jackson's trial started in February of 2009. Amy Wyrick and another prosecutor named Stephen Jones called witnesses that made Jackson look like a potential killer. Witnesses described Jackson's drug use, sexual activity, and party lifestyle. She was using alcohol and marijuana. They even brought up opioids, which she was prescribed for endometriosis. One neighbor overheard.
I'm going to speed this up a little bit and just get to the part. Hi, William. Good to see you. If you're not familiar, this is Noura Jackson, and she was cited. Her case was cited in one of Brian Koberger's research papers. So I'm going to skip up ahead to the part where he's talking about what exactly did the prosecutors do that made them look like prosecutorial misconduct. So, and that's the reason why he was citing it in his case.
Heard Jackson demand Jackson and was the one witness who placed Jackson slaughter or sentence.
Okay, so this is one part. There was a guy that she was out with that night, and he was like, he was saying she was at home, and he could place her there at the time they think the crime was. But what had happened was this case right here, Noura Jackson was one of them. So I'm sure he cited others, but I wanted to look this up. The guy that was placing her at the scene of the crime apparently wrote a statement that they kept hidden from the defense. And I guess this note was at trial, but not presented at trial. It was slipped to somebody, and I don't know. So that was one piece of it. So something being hidden, and then
would be reduced to 15 years as a receptionist and or stopping at the Walgreens. She had multiple stories wearing were never found beyond a reasonable doubt. The investigation was terrible. The prosecution didn't turn over evidence. And again, no physical evidence tied Noura Jackson to the crime scene. This is another example of a case where the prosecution painted the defendant as low in conscientiousness, highly disorganized, rebellious, out of control. And yet they described a murder which would require the perfect execution of a master plan. All of a sudden, Noura Jackson has the combined skill of a mafia hitman and a ninja. This reminds me of the Jeff Pelly case, this case in Indiana where several members of a family were murdered. Jeff Pelly was convicted of the crime. He was essentially described as antisocial. He engaged in a number of small crimes before that. And then all of a sudden, according to the prosecution, he was able to kill 4 people in about 20.
Is it better when I mute my microphone? Here, Jeff, I'm going to interrupt this right here because my computer crashed yesterday, so I had to get a whole new hard drive put in. So nothing's there. Nothing's there anymore. Like my head. That's why I'm using my headphones because I don't know, everything's all different. So yeah, that's the issue. It's coming through my headphones through the microphone. So I will mute.
Minutes without leaving any physical evidence. What I find interesting about the Jackson case is that Noura Jackson seems to represent herself as someone who has been exonerated. For example, she did an interview with Amanda Knox, a woman who was convicted and later acquitted of a homicide in Italy. I believe Amanda Knox is actually innocent. Noura Jackson did take a plea deal. She's technically guilty. And as I said before, I think she's actually guilty. She has not been exonerated as far as I know. There were terrible things that happened to her as far as due process. She was a victim of wrongdoing, but that doesn't mean she's innocent. One of the parts of this case that really makes no sense is the Alford plea. Noura Jackson's conviction was overturned. She had originally been sentenced to 20 years and 9 months, and she was offered 15 years as part of that Alford plea. She essentially gave up her chance of being found not guilty to get out of prison 5 or 6 years earlier than she would have. Now, of course, she could have been retried, convicted again, and sentenced to a longer prison term, but that would have been an unlikely outcome. She actually had a good case for the retrial. In addition to that note being available as evidence, the information about her drug use would have been excluded. In addition, I find it difficult to believe that she did not know the math of her sentence, like she took the plea bargain and then was surprised to remain in prison for 15 additional months. I have worked with a lot of people who have spent time in prison. No matter how bad they are at math, they can always tell you the exact day when they will get out. Prison sentences are the ultimate teacher of addiction. Jackson's behavior in jail seemed to reinforce this image of a person with behavioral problems.
Yeah, she was out of control with that stuff. So there was basically I wanted to share this case because the similarities were how she was painted as a person, like that overtook the whole trial. And there wasn't any concrete evidence. So there was no DNA, nothing that specifically could put her at the house. No murder weapon, nothing like that. So everything was circumstantial. And then that piece of like exculpatory evidence with the witness statement was one piece that helped get her the Alford plea. And the other one that I thought was interesting was the prosecutor, I guess, got super dramatic. And she had a reputation of being like very aggressive in court. And she got very dramatic and was like, kind of yelling at this Noura Jackson saying, just tell us where you were that night, like asking for the alibi. Right. So that's kind of similar too, right? Not being able to prove your alibi. So similar to the Brian Koberger case. And the prosecutor got in trouble for that because I guess there is a rule or a law or procedure, like you can't, like she as the defendant has the right to stay silent. That's another thing. She was standing silent. She wasn't producing that solid alibi because I guess she didn't have it. You're right. Like, why no phone data? Interesting. Hey, Lucy. All right, I will back up a little bit. I'm glad you guys are interested in this. Let's listen to what the evidence was.
Amy Wyrick and another prosecutor named Stephen Jones called witnesses that made Jackson look like a potential killer. Witnesses described Jackson's drug use, sexual activity, and party lifestyle. She was using alcohol and marijuana. They even brought up opioids, which she was prescribed for endometriosis. One neighbor overheard Jackson demanding money from her mother. The neighbor said that Jackson was in a rage. One of Jackson's aunts said that Jackson was not happy about potentially being sent to boarding school. This is something that Jennifer apparently discussed. Jackson's half-uncle heard an argument involving the cars, which were inherited by Jackson. Interestingly, a potential conflict was uncovered. Jackson's half-uncle and two aunts were suing Jackson for Jennifer's life insurance policy and the remainder of her estate. One of Jackson's acquaintances, named Andrew Hammock, who said they were friends with benefits, testified that sometime between 4 and 5 a.m. on the day of the murder, Noura Jackson called him and asked him to come over to her house. Andrew said that this request was out of the ordinary and he did not drive over. I guess he checked the benefits list and that was not one of the available options. The prosecution made it seem as though Noura Jackson called Andrew Hammock so that she would be with somebody else when she discovered the body. In her closing argument, Wyrick made an exclamation in front of the jury. She said, quote, "Just tell us where you were. That's all we are asking, Noura," unquote. Her statement was a not-so-subtle attack on Noura Jackson's right to remain silent. So the prosecutor was making Noura look bad because Noura chose not to testify. Noura Jackson's defense attorney was hesitant about having her testify on her own behalf. Specifically, she was worried about cross-examination. Jackson was on a lot of psychotropic medications for anxiety and depression, which could have compromised her performance on the stand. Her defense attorney called no witnesses. She noted that the DNA evidence revealed unknown suspects and that Jackson had a manicure not long before the murder. How did she kill her mother with a knife without sustaining any damage to her fingernails?
Isn't that crazy that her defense attorney didn't call one single witness to the stand? That's crazy. I mean, come on, do something. I had never watched this actual trial. I guess it was a long time ago. She served, what would they say, 11 and a half years in prison. But yeah, that's crazy. Do something, at least pretend like you're trying.
Noura Jackson was found guilty of second-degree murder on March 27, 2009. The jury did not go with the first-degree murder charge. Jackson was sentenced to 20 years and 9 months in prison. She was given almost 3.5 years credit for time served and could have earned up to another 3 years for good behavior. So from the moment she was sentenced, she could have been released in under 15 years. Before her conviction, Jackson really struggled in jail. She had collected a number of disciplinary offenses. It's like she was going for the whole set. She didn't do any better in prison either. She racked up offenses like possessing morphine, fighting, and kissing an inmate. The prosecutor would go on to enjoy tremendous success in her career after this. She was appointed district attorney in Shelby County after the current district attorney resigned. She was then elected to that position in both 2012 and 2014. A friend said that Wyrick's husband was talking about the family moving into the governor's mansion one day. Either he thought the governor wouldn't mind, or he believed Wyrick would be the governor. The other prosecutor in this
That's the prosecutor he's talking about. And don't be kissing in prison. To be fair, I guess when she did get out, she moved in with her girlfriend that she met in prison. So So this guy's talking about what happened to her, after the sentencing, but he's pointing out the fact just about her, right, Lucy? uh, about her that she didn't even understand the math. He called it later on, the math of your sentencing, right? She served 11 and a half years of her, what do you say, 15-year sentence, and then took an Alford plea, which then because she just wanted to get out. She's like, that was her determining factor, which I understand. But the reason I'm comparing this, or why Brian probably pointed this out to compare it, in his research paper, or use it in a research paper, is because she was able to, I guess, in her mind, get out earlier, even though he's saying it wasn't significantly much earlier. Few years, I mean, hey, whatever. But she was able to do that because there was evidence that was hidden, and the prosecution doing that, demanding the alibi kind of thing. Maybe, Jeff. Hey, he can get married and have kids and do all of that kind of stuff, I guess. Darth Zinn. Yeah. If they are giving you an Alford plea, you are probably innocent. Yeah, like I said, everything was like circumstantial, right? And it's just so weird that so I said her father was murdered also, and he had a store, and the people, they show this in the Dateline episode. If you watch it, they have camera footage. She had a camera in the store, and it caught the person in there, and they were rummaging, like they were looking for something. And I believe it kind of looked that way in the mom's house too. So, I mean, yes, there's circumstantial evidence against this girl, but also, there's evidence for other perpetrators, plus that unknown DNA. So a lot of similarities between these two cases, plus this was cited in one of his research papers. So how much time is left on this? I gotta
Case, Stephen Jones, filed a motion 5 days after the guilty verdict. It was to submit an omitted statement, specifically a handwritten note written by Andrew Hammock, which was given to the police a few days after.
No, they weren't killed on the same date. Her father was killed much earlier. Like, sounded like years. Sounded like she had lived a long time with her single mom.
For the murder. Again, Andrew was in a friends with benefits relationship with Noura Jackson and was the one witness who placed Jackson at the crime scene. Jones admitted that the police had given him the note in the middle of the trial. He put it in his notebook and forgot about it. So the defense was never made aware of the note. Here's what the note indicated. Andrew wrote that he left his cell phone with a friend and later was rolling on ecstasy, meaning he was using the illegal drug MDMA. The note made it look as though Andrew never did receive a call from Jackson saying that he should come over. Cell phone records showed that he texted Jackson and that she called him, but the records did not indicate if the call was answered. This note meant that Andrew Hammock could have been considered a plausible suspect by the jury. He had contradicted his alibi. In a sense, this note could have also shed light on another occurrence. About a week after the murder, a friend of Andrew Hammock visited a police station and said they didn't know where he was on the night of the murder, and since that night, he had been acting strangely. The police never.
Okay, so there you go. Don't be forgetting about those important notes that are handed to you in court. And so there, you asked a good question earlier, William, about the cell phone data. So apparently they did look at that. They looked at the cell phone data, and it showed a call was made, but that it was not answered. So there's that too. And now he's looking like another suspect. So, I mean, there's female DNA that's unidentified at the scene. Now there's this guy whose friends are saying, "Hey, nobody knows where he was." And I think it was hilarious in that note that he wrote. It was a statement. He was rolling. He was rolling on ecstasy. So lots of other alternative perpetrators. Thanks for joining me, you guys. Hit the thumbs up if you don't mind. We're going to finish this.
Never bothered to follow that lead. Noura Jackson's conviction was overturned in 2014 for two reasons. One was however, they maintain their innocence. If Noura Jackson would plead guilty to voluntary manslaughter, her sentence would be reduced to 15 years. When factoring in time for good behavior, she believed that she would be released from prison the same day if she pleaded guilty. Noura Jackson was ambivalent about pleading guilty. She had strong feelings in both directions. In the one sense, she wanted to maintain her innocence, which technically she could do with an Alford plea, but it's still pleading guilty. On the other side, she really wanted to be free. She wanted to have a chance to have a baby and felt as though time was running out. Now, Jackson did not want to plead guilty and then have to go back to prison. She had already told the prisoners there that she was fighting for her innocence, and she thought they would react poorly to the news that she had pleaded guilty. So again, she was hoping to plead guilty and immediately be released. On May 20, 2015, Jackson signed the Alford plea. She thought she would be released the same day, but as it turned out, she did not have enough credits to be released. She was sent back to prison to serve 15 more months. Apparently, no.
Is that a thing too, you guys? That because you plead guilty, so like because Brian pled guilt, accepted the plea deal for guilt, does that make the other inmates more does that make him more of a target? I never thought about that, but that's what she was saying she was afraid of.
one knew how to add or subtract. Jackson was released after serving a total of 11 years. She found a job in an auto body shop working as a receptionist and moved in with her girlfriend, who she had met in prison. Jackson would find out after her release from prison that because her endometriosis was largely untreated there, a hysterectomy was now indicated. Adopting a child was not really an option because Jackson and her girlfriend were both convicted felons. Now moving to my analysis. Was Noura Jackson actually guilty? This is an interesting case because many people believe that she was, and her sentence was reduced essentially because of a technicality and some misconduct, and other people believe that she is truly innocent. She was a victim, and that misconduct was really just a way to frame her for a crime she didn't commit. Let's look at the factors both for and against the idea that Noura Jackson was guilty, starting with the inculpatory evidence. Noura Jackson had a motive to kill her mother. There was a massive financial incentive. Her behavior was rebellious. She had been angry from time to time. She was using drugs. She was defying her mother's authority. There were serious problems in that relationship. Jackson's behavior in jail seemed to reinforce this image of a person with behavioral problems. Noura Jackson was always on her phone, but between 1:13 a.m. and 3:18 a.m. on June 5, 2005, which was likely when the murder occurred, there was no activity on her phone. The 911 operator asked Noura Jackson if her mother had been shot. She replied no. How would she know that? Jackson didn't tell the police about cutting her hand or stopping at the Walgreens. She had multiple stories for how she cut.
Well, she knew because she's the one that went in the room and saw her. That's I mean, you make an assumption, right? When you see injuries. So I guess that's just what she did. She made an assumption. But I'm going to stop that video there. This is, who am I using? Let me shrink this down. Dr. Todd Grande. He also mentioned having another channel. I didn't catch it. I'll have to link it in this video when I get done. But it's the case of prosecutorial misconduct in a matricide trial. I had to laugh at the Dateline episode about this too, because I think it was that Quinones guy, if that's the show he's on, they used matricide as many times as they could. Like, I don't know if it's not common. So I think it was a new word. They're like, oh, let's say this word all the time. I don't know that. Jeff did a video about Brian Koberger watching Brian Koberger watched Todd Grande's videos. Is that what you're saying? That's interesting. I'll have to go look that up. I just was looking for this Noura Jackson case, and there were only a couple things on YouTube that came up. So that's how I found that one. I can't wait till that information comes out more about their cell phones. I saw Lucy saying that Dylan was sleeping when she saved that contact. Who was that contact? I guess we're all thinking if we can find out who it is, then we would know why she was saving it, right? I have been listening to everybody read the unsealed docs. I heard that there was some just more drop today, right? Friday. That's the day that they do it. Can anybody describe what they are so far? Okay, Lucy. We gotta be nice. That's funny. I know Jeff gives it back too, so I can't. I'm not getting in the middle, you guys. I'm not getting in the middle. So, Sarah, to ask your question, I have been reading them slowly. I've listened to everybody on their live shows read them. So I've been listening to them. Sleep contacting. Yeah. Not sleepwalking, sleep texting. I'm surprised no one's used that yet. That'll be the next excuse or reason for something, sleep texting, right? Are they Idaho? Where are the newest docs from today at? Are they on Ada County or are they on the state police site? Let me look. Let's see. Remember, I don't have anything bookmarked right now because my computer completely crashed out. My computer had a crash out yesterday. My daughter says that all the time. I'm going to crash out. I did save. Here it is. I went through the photos last night and I was on the hunt for the footprints. Let me take that down. I was on the hunt for the footprints because I was either reading yes, I was reading myself the Moscow documents with the first 5 responding officers and how they described the scene and what they saw. And the one officer was around the back by the slider and was describing the footprints going to and from the sliding door. But I thought it was interesting that it was worded that the footprints went around a tree stump towards the back. The way it was worded, I think, was back towards the front of the house. And I had always thought that they were claiming that the white sedan was parked more over on that side street or back. Another thing I want to do, I don't know if I'm going to get to it today, but I have it planned. I want to pull up a map of Moscow. I already saved some Google Earth shots, and I need you guys to help me figure out in my head relationally where everything is. Like, I have a hard time with like the Linda Lane apartments and the Linda Lane dumpster camera and like stuff like that. I want to like really pinpoint it on there. I think I know, but I'm not sure. But back to the footprints, I always thought they went one way, kind of through that wooded area to the back where they claimed the car must have parked. And to me, it seemed like they were saying, no, they went the opposite way back towards the front of the house. And I'm like, well, that's kind of contradicting the narrative, I think. What do you guys think? Oh, I missed a whole bunch of comments. Sorry. I have to scroll down. Sleepwalking. Oh, Molly's footprints. Yes, but didn't she say she did not go to the back of the house? She was afraid. And that's another one. I'm going to pull up these pictures because she was claiming she could not see the address of the house. And she claimed she would not go to the back because I think she was afraid. Okay. So I've got that tab. Will it fit up there? Be patient with me. How do I do this? I know I got to share. Oh, present. Wait. Okay. Right. They measured those footprints too. They said that they were 13 and a half, 14, like because there was a couple different footprints. So like Carlos would say that doesn't rule Brian out because isn't Brian where? Oh, here we go. I think I'm figuring this out. Brian wears a 13, right? Okay, let's see if this works. That's not the one I want, though. What do I want? All right, I'm going to see if this will let me scroll. Okay, so that's where it's coming. So see, there's the trick. I'm going to look. You guys can't see my mouse, can you? I got to figure out if I can get like something. I do have it. Well, all right, you can see where the yellow crime scene tape goes from the ladder up to that stump. So there's the stump. You guys know all this stuff better than I do anyways. But I was just surprised that they said the steps came out of the slider, walked around that trunk, and then are coming down this hill. And the snow's real spotty. So some were in the snow, some were more like in the grass, but you could see the indentation. So then shouldn't the narrative be that Brian left this way? And then where he would he have parked? In the parking lot behind Molly? I can change the pointer in StreamYard. I know I can do it like, is that what this pencil is? No, that's I'm not going to mess with it right now. Let's learn how to use the StreamYard tools with Kim. Okay, so now I want to change these pictures. We did that one. Okay, so that's not a great shot of it. Let's try another one. There's got to be an easier way to go through these pictures. If I would have just done it on the I do have them in the docs, like in my downloads. It'd probably be easier. Oh, that doesn't show them. I have a better one. This one, I'm guessing. It's hard to see when they're close up. Oh, that's where they were measuring it. So you can see the measuring stick there. Now, when I first looked at this, I thought, okay, so the toe of the shoe is up at the top of the picture, top of the screen, and it's more dirt with some ice chunks up there. And then you can see a ridge of snow back towards the heel, like there was a cutout in the sole of the shoe, right? I'm on a PC. You can give me tips, Jeff. I will anything to make it faster. These are screenshots that are saved in each individual file, and I'm pulling them up each individually. That's why it's taken me forever. But that ridge, so it looks like the sole of the shoe had a part of it cut out. And I thought, well, Van shoes don't have that, right? They wouldn't have a cutout like that. But then I did find a pair that did. They did. Are they trolling us with the rulers? Kane! Kane's coming in, dropping bombs in here. How do you do it? Oh, you're funny. Let me see if I screenshotted them because I just, I went online and I just Googled some, but yeah, there was a pair. Yeah, I'll mess with it. You guys are bearing with me today. Which I appreciate. I appreciate you guys. Let's see if I found the van. If I screenshotted it. I did not, but I'll Google it in a second. And let me show you guys this one. This has nothing to do with the footprints, but I saved this because I don't know if you guys noticed this, but as a teacher, I am going to use this on my teaching channel to talk about the Brian Koberger case on my teaching channel. It's this was that box. I think it was wasn't this in the closet under the steps? And it said that Jeff, you and Kane want to come up? The box says box doubles as last minute diorama. Did you guys catch that? Like, I just thought that was funny because school teachers are always making their kids do dioramas about a book they read or something like that. A diorama is when you have to build a 3D scene inside. Usually it's a shoebox. Usually you turn a shoebox sideways so the opening is facing you, and then you build, you know, the dollhouse box. No, it's in the house. This was in the house. Yeah, this is in the house. So, yeah, that was my little, like, I don't think anybody noticed that, but I did. I know, they are stressful. We stopped doing them. I don't think I've ever, maybe the only time I did it was when we were studying ancient civilizations, and, we did it in school. We didn't do it as homework. Like, we did it in class. That's how I rolled. Okay, let me see if I can find those vans that had the cutout. Oh, do that. Okay. Share. What do I want to do? I'm going to do a new tab. And we're going to look up Vans shoe soles. A cast? I haven't seen that. Let's do images. Okay, so here's what I was looking at. Oh, right here. Now, I know that's a different shape, but see how that's cut out right there? Vans suede. I should be able to make it bigger. Open in a new tab. There we go. Oh, you're not seeing it. This is what I did on my video the other day. I just shared the tab instead of sharing. All right, this is annoying. What are we doing? Hold on, I'm getting it. I'm getting it. Oh, I'm choosing tabs. That's why I should just do the window or the entire screen. Should I do the entire? I should do the entire screen. Then I can click tabs, right? Oh no. Nope. I should know. I should know better. Don't mind me. I'm over here just figuring this out. I didn't see dog prints in the back. That would be interesting. Good question, Barbara. Hi, Barbara. Nice to see you. Did you see the Did you see my screen just shrink into the abyss? Oh my god, that's funny. Okay, let's try it one more time. This is what I want. That's what I want. Okay. A little bit bigger, but see how it's got that cutout in the middle? Now that doesn't match the one that was in the snow. It was a very thin line, but they might have one that's like that. So I don't know. He wore slides to go commit the murder or another kind of slides. This show is a psyop. That's funny. William, like that was my first impression with the Vans is that, they're all just flat diamond on the bottom, and that's mostly what you see, but apparently, this is a pair of Vans. So just thought it was interesting. All right, there's a couple more pictures I wanted to ask you guys about. I get confused about. All right, let's see if I can do this again. When you come in, oh wait, let's show that first. Oh, I know I took a picture of it. Oh, right here. There it is. Okay, I got it. You're still laughing at the diorama. Oh, so this was a screenshot. So apparently I cut off the part that I wanted to show you guys, but that's the front of the house where, and the numbers 221122 were right up above there. And there's lights right there. I don't know, but Molly was claiming she couldn't find the house or the address, and she was like literally right there in that parking lot, right? So she can't say that she didn't see the numbers to the house, and it's a door right there, like front door. I'm sure I have a better picture with the address above it. I was trying to make sense of the front door. Okay. I always thought if you opened the front door, Bethany's room is where these stairs are. Like you walk in the front door and the steps are right there to go upstairs to the left. Yeah, I guess yes, Jeff, I agree with you. It's not like they were neon lit up or anything, but they also were not hidden. They were not hidden. So if you were someone who's looking, you'd be able to see them. You'd be able to see them. Oh, you pass the steps and turn left. Oh my goodness. I have never in 2.5 years heard anybody say that. Thanks, guys. On a side note, a video popped up on my feed of a guy and a girl using GPS, and it took them to the parking lot of 1122. Where were they trying to go? The storage room is to the right, and then is the spare bedroom to the right? Is not listed on the videos submitted. Let's look at this comment. 712 Taylor is not listed on the videos submitted in the evidence in released stuff. Are you asking a rhetorical question, Lucy? Do you know where it's listed? Hi, Miss Potts. I'm so happy you're here. It's good to see you. I was listening to you earlier. Built to scale accurate. Oh, you guys are talking about the dollhouse. The dollhouse. You might have missed it, Miss Potts, but I showed I don't have it pulled up anymore. There was a box in the house in one of the closets that said could be used as a diorama, like a secondary use as a diorama. So I brought that up because I'm a teacher. So we're all laughing about that. Everybody was asking me what that was. Okay, so I'm trying to wrap my head around, because the way that I thought things were positioned on this first floor, which I'm not a spatial person. Like, I'm more of a written, follow directions with words type of a person. So this makes sense. So let me show you another picture and you guys can help me out. I'm just going to do my live so you guys can help me understand stuff. Okay, let's look at this one. Okay. So there's the steps. There's a big container. It looks like they were collecting evidence, throwing it in there. So on the other side of that container is an opening, and that must be the front door to go outside, because I have another shot of this and it looked like leaves everywhere and there were leaves outside. So there's the door, then the steps, and then it looks like we're standing in a doorway at the forefront of this picture. What room would that be? What room is that? Yes, the door's on the other side of that plastic container. What room is in front of that box of probably Trulies or whatever they are right there? Bethany's room to the right. So then is that the storage closet right there that's open? That they were probably standing in, like they were standing, or is that the bathroom? Probably the bathroom. So it goes bathroom, Bethany's room, unused bedroom. Let me pick another one. Let me see. This one? Okay, so that's the door that it is a bathroom. You can see the bathtub. So they were standing in the bathroom, pointing it towards. So this is completely backwards than how I thought this was laid out. Oh my goodness. That's crazy. The other thing I was noticing when I went through all of these photos is how many random kind of crinkled beer cans were just left everywhere. Like, not usually if you're sitting, so I'll just some people might sit somewhere, and if you're drinking, hanging out, like wherever you are, there'll be several, drinks left. But there's like a beer can in this bathroom we're looking at, like next to the bathtub. There's a beer can right there, or I'm saying beer, but let's just say alcohol can, because they might be different things. Right there in the front hall. We see a few going up the steps. They're just like in these, like, were they that like, oh, I'm done drinking this, let me just throw it right down where I'm at? That's not what you do in a house. You don't do that in a house. That's just weird to me. Have they released anything about I see you guys talking about the dollhouse. Have they released anything about that? Yeah, that was not a deep cleaning. All right, you guys are just talking about that. I'll let you guys debate it out there. Let me see if there's anything else I wanted to ask about with this. I know there is. No, that's not what I want. Image. Next time what I'll do my teacher move, and I will put all my screenshots on slides, and then I can just slide on through them. That's how my techie mind works, Jeff. That's what I do. I would take all my screenshots, hurry up and just like insert them into a Google Slides thing, and then be able to show them boom, boom, boom. Oh, what's this? Did you guys see this? So this is Ethan's Jeep, right? And this was on the far side of the house. What's that silver stuff? What is it? I can't point to it. I don't know. Probably nothing important, but I'm like, what even is that? A wrapper? It looks silver. I can't tell if it looks hard. Like, is it a car part? What is that thing? A bag, maybe? Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's crinkly. It could even be like a store plastic bag. They sometimes have different colors. Look to the left of the bag. What am I seeing? It's Brian's Amazon. That's funny. Packaging from an Amazon box. Definitely some deliveries, right? Okay, not important. Just interesting. All right, help me with this. Try this one. Okay. Are those two big, long rooftops, the long rectangular ones, are they the same apartment complex? And is that Linda Lane or is that Queen Road Apartments? Because the house is not in this photo, right? They already took it out. Those are the Queen Road Apartments. And so they're the ones that have that like below ground level like walkway, right? That ends up out right by the house, right? Queen Road Apartments. Okay. So where's Linda Lane? Where's the Linda Lane Apartments? All right, let me pull up another picture. So okay, good to know. So those are Queen Road Apartments, and they are the closest ones to the house. Don't want that. Don't want that. Yeah, I think I have a different angle of it. So let me I mean, I have a wider area, so it'll show us more. Okay, so this shows more of an area. So then are the two gray rooftops in the picture, it's above the Queen Road Apartments. Is that Linda Lane or is Linda Lane to the right? Dark roof bottom right. This is Google Earth. Way to the right. Like, oh my God, let me see if I can make this bigger. Let me do this. I'm going to do this. I think I know how I can. There we go. Why can't that be a tab? Share my screen. Is that working? No. Oh, I will figure it out. Eventually, I will figure it out. It's so frustrating. Okay, remove. Linda Lane is short, like a backwards L, below and right. Okay, because then I was trying to decide where. So that's good to know that that's the Queen Road Apartments. So Linda Lane is over. Is that, what road is that off of? Is that close to Taylor? Because then I was trying to look. I don't know if I'd be able to find the exact dumpster now, like on Google Earth, right? But where's the house that had the camera that was pointed towards the dumpster? Because Carlos had always asked me way back when, like when I showed him that guy on the dumpster, both guys, one at 3:00, one towards 5. Where is that in relationship to the house? And I've just never, I thought I knew, but I also thought I knew what that front door area of the house looked like. So I want to be sure. 2 different Linda Lanes, but are they right next to each other? 1330 and 1320? You want to come up, Jeff? Then that means I got to figure out how to share a link. No, I think I know how to do it. Right there. $13.20 has the dumpster. Okay. Okay, so I'm going to pull up the map again. Or let's see. I can't. So frustrating. Oh, this one, add to stage. Okay. Now I got to look. How do I see who's backstage? I dropped the link, Jeff, if you want to click it. You should pop up. I think you would pop up. Do directions for it. I try, but sometimes, yeah, I can do that. I can do that for sure. Yeah, because I want to create something that gives me perspective. And I felt better when I was in someone else's chat a while ago, and other people didn't really have that perspective either. And like, I respect the people who've like gone out there. Many creators have gone out there. They've drove around. They Hello.
Hey there. How you doing?
How are
Oh,
you?
can you hear me? Is my mic? Yep, it's on. Okay. Good to see you.
Good to see
I mean, I've already seen you. I've been watching you. Good to be here.
For me to see you, right?
Yeah. I'm glad you got to see me.
Okay.
So, how can I be of help? Because you can't see my mouse, or I mean, I could bring up I could bring it up and show you on a map, and then
Yeah.
point it, or I could describe it with words. But maybe a map. Let me bring up
Yeah. Go ahead.
Google Maps. It's so funny when I type in 1122. It's like one of the first search histories. I go there a lot.
Right. I have to say hi to Scarlett. Hi, Scarlett. Oh, I'm glad you saw my walk the other day. Awesome.
Let me do this so that we see terrain and stuff. Oh, satellite. I don't know if Google Earth would have been cleaner, but no, this will work fine. Okay, so then I'll share.
I know I
Share
saw
screen.
Google Earth has like the ability to do layers and stuff now, and I was like, oh, I cannot figure that out.
Right,
Well,
yeah,
I
you can turn
could,
off
but
like
it's
street
really
names and things.
Yeah.
So okay, I should be sharing
And I
the
went on
map
the
now.
street view, and it wouldn't let you go on the street view on any of the close streets around.
Yeah, they shut that down. They
Yep.
definitely shut that down.
Yep.
Okay, it should be backstage. The Google Maps.
Oh, I have to share it.
Yeah, I think you got to bring it up onto the stage or add to the stage. You just click the picture
there
next
it
to
is.
me. Yeah.
That one?
Yeah. Okay. So now if I zoom in, it's a little delay. So you can see here's Linda Lane. Is my mouse showing up? You see the mouse?
I do not. Oh, wait, maybe. Move it again.
Wait, let me see. I think it's a little. There's a little delay or latency. If I
Yeah.
shake it real, I think it. No, I thought no, on a Mac, if you shake because if you like lose your mouse on the screen, if you just move your mouse real quick, it'll make the mouse pointer bigger. So like, I'm
Oh.
right here. I'm right here.
Oh, I didn't know
I
that.
thought that's cool, but it's not. It doesn't seem like it's doing it. So you see, Linda Lane off to the right. Here, I can make this. How do I get rid of this thing on the left? Let me collapse that.
The only thing I know for sure on here right now, looking at it, is where the Queen Road apartments are.
I won't mention her name, but she calls those the Twinkies, the two Twinkies. I thought that's a perfect name for it when you're trying to describe the Queen Road apartments.
Oh, I did hear
Two
that.
Twinkies.
Yeah.
But yeah, so here's Linda Lane right here. See, it goes down from Taylor. Here's the dumpster right here. Do you see my mouse?
Yes.
That's the little
Okay,
dumpster
so-
right there.
Okay.
So you see the 1320 camera is right here facing this way, down Linda Lane to Taylor. So that's the 1320 camera.
But is there a house right there? Because someone said it was on a house.
It's on a two-story apartment unit. Wait, let me see if that. Are you allowed to? Yeah, you can actually go on the road there. So that's looking towards Taylor. There's Taylor down at the end of the street. And if you just do 180 degrees, yeah, the camera is right there. And it's pointing, at the dumpster.
Okay, and then turn it to where the guy walked up. Where did he walk up at?
Yeah,
Like
so
off the camera.
yeah, so I think the guy that walked up to the dumpster, I think originated from a house or somewhere around here, around this car. I
Right,
think.
right. But once he's at the dumpster, going towards, is he going towards the Linda Lane apartments?
Yeah, so
after
he
he's
came,
at
he,
the
he came
dumpster?
up he came up this road. He looked in the dumpster, and then he went around to the left of the dumpster, and then walked up. Walked up the hill.
Right.
And then 1330 camera is actually right there.
So that's one of the Linda Lane apartments right there.
Yeah, I think they're called the Linda Lane apartments. I guess so. But I know see this window right here? That's the laundry room window. And there's the camera right there. And here's the two balconies. Whoops. Here's the two balconies right above it. There are balcony apartments that I'm sure these apartments here, I'm sure you're hearing the footsteps and things of people that live in these two well, at least the bottom apartment. But if they got their door open on the See, that's the thing. I don't. Everybody hears a lot of stuff on the Linda Lane footage, and the thing that it just reminds me of is like visiting a friend out at Ithaca College, and people would yell across the quad at each other like, "Hey, come over later," stuff like that, or blah blah blah. You can't make it out. But from this balcony, you can see out onto the band field, I think, from there. So if you could have somebody. Well, let's go back to the other view.
Oh yeah, they even caught the the police car, right? The sounds from the police car were on that.
Right.
On that video.
Yeah, I have a video that I did that shows that the Linda Lane camera's right here, 1330. It picks up the sound of the police car, the undercover police car that's parked over here. Right? And it picks up, it's four Carnhawks, right? Yeah. But the timestamps on the police body cam and on the Linda Lane camera itself are like off by less than 1 second. So it's, there's so much talk about like, oh, the camera times are off and everything. It's like, I don't know how that happens. That it's that accurate. I mean, like I'm one who tries to get my stove clock and my microwave clock to match my iPhone exactly. I sit there, wait for the number to change, and then I hit the button so that it's that close, like as if a minute will make a difference. But yeah, I'm thinking somebody at 1330 can be on the balcony right here, look over and see the Taylor apartments right here, Taylor Road apartments, and even probably see people out on Banfield. So I mean, it's the yelling and screaming across the way.
Straight. This is what I need to get straight. Okay, the camera you were showing me when you say 1330 camera, what is the name of that apartment complex that it's on?
It's 1330 Linda Lane. That's all I can tell you. I've never really
those
thought
apartments
about.
Have a name, Lucy? Do they have a name?
Maybe they do.
Why was I always calling them the Linda Lane? Everybody always called them the Linda Lane apartments.
That might be what they're called. I don't know. That's the one too. It sure does appear that Kane Francetic, the owner of the Linda Lane camera that I've emailed with many times. I mean, he comes out of 1330. It looks like, if that's truly him, and he runs Gray Hughes off the property. Remember, you've seen that video?
Yeah, I've seen that video. Yeah.
So he's coming out of 1330. It makes me wonder if he, if that's where he lives, or he just happened to be there checking on a tenant, or what. But he told me,
you manage apartments. Usually, you get a free apartment, right?
Possibly
you get to live there and work.
But he also told me that he's got 4 cameras. So I know there's another camera right next to the 1330 camera that's kind of like, 1330, the one that we've all seen, points kind of like north, like so we would pick up this truck, right? It's the fence line is right here in the 1330.
Right, just above like the parking lot, right? You can.
But
see
there's another camera right next to it that's pointed down like this direction that I've never seen. And he said in an email to me that he's got 4, but I've only ever seen 2 cameras. So maybe some aren't functioning. Maybe some aren't even pointing in a direction that's helpful to the investigation. But he said that the only reason that he had these cameras was because at that dumpster, people were leaving trash by the dumpster, and he wanted to see who's doing it. And that, parking issues. That's the only reasons he had these cameras at all.
Oh, not for safety.
No, it just so happened he got them for this purpose.
Yeah.
All
right. Well, I'm trying to make sense out of this. So thank you so much for
and this is where the light bulb camera is, right here on this house. It's like, here's the little steps that go up to where the pumpkins are.
Yes.
That's the little steps. Yeah. And the camera's like right about, what is it on
and
the
that camera faces to the
side?
left?
It faces to the left. So this is the house that is seen predominantly in that, and then all the vehicles are parked in this little driveway right here. Right. And he, you see him come down this road, hang that right turn real fast. You see him, wait, let me zoom back out. So, so slow on that. Here we go. Comes down Queen, hangs that right, makes the left, assuming he makes the left because you see him later right around here. He's hauling ass up the Walenta Drive hill, and you catch a glimpse of him going up that hill right around here from this camera over here.
Okay. Good question, Swamp Rose, because when I was on, and hello, by the way, when I was on Google Maps last night, and I was kind of losing my orientation because you can like, spin stuff around and everything. And um King Road is actually removed a little bit from where the house is, and the house is like actually on Queen Road. So her question was, is the mailbox for 1122 actually on
That's a
King
good question.
Road? And then
I think, aren't there a bunch of mailboxes at the corner of Queen and King? Like, like right here, I think. I could be wrong.
do those
I'm
two
not.
roads even intersect?
King and Queen, yeah. Yeah. There's a stop sign right
They
there.
are like perpendicular.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Perpendicular, you guys. It means like they meet like at
At a right angle.
just kidding. I'm just kidding.
Now we know, but what have we learned today? Diorama. Perpendicular. So what the hell is circuitous?
Round and round. You have footage of the trash pickup swamp? Is this a link right here? No.
Oh, that's right. They brought in that big the trash truck, right, to take the dumpsters to a facility to go through all the trash.
Oh, okay.
I remember seeing news footage of that.
Kane, you make me laugh. All right, next live, Kane, you're coming up with me.
Yeah, come on, Kane, bring your guitar. Get up here.
Well, unfortunately, I am going to have to end this because I have to go make dinner. I'm going to go get myself in the kitchen.
What was scrubbed? Everybody says the word scrubbed, and then I go looking for it and I find it. So I'm looking for an instance where somebody says something was scrubbed, and then I can't find it. I don't think. So I guess what I'm saying is I'm a disbeliever when I hear somebody say something was scrubbed, because I think.
How about that missing time from the Linda Lane footage?
Well, Kane emailed me, and the 1320 camera. Actually, I could read you the email if you want. He's got the 1320 camera is a wireless camera, and he was having trouble with the camera resetting, losing connection with the Wi-Fi connection. The only way he could get around it was to put it on a Christmas light timer so that it would reset itself on a regular interval, so that it would reconnect and stay connected to the Wi-Fi. One of these days, part of me wants to do like a live or something sharing his emails, but I mean, he was kind enough to share like his thoughts with me and stuff, and it's like I just don't feel right doing it. But I asked him, I said, you mind if I mention you and stuff? And he's like, that's fine, but
yeah, he's probably got some information.
yeah, he said he was relieved. He was subpoenaed for the trial, so he was relieved that it went to a plea deal. Talk about something.
What did he say about that footage getting out?
There was an email that went out to a bunch of people. I managed to get one, but I think it was kind of a copy and pasted into an email. But I remember at the time it happened, he had claimed that he was scammed out of the footage by someone. I still, to be honest, I don't understand that scenario.
Well, either way, no matter what happened, he gave it to somebody and then it got out.
Yeah, either that or I don't know if it was this kind of thing. Part of me wonders why there's so many little snippets and pieces. Is like, was it the kind of thing where they were, because they're web sleuths. Well, maybe not web sleuths, but they're just as interested in watching this footage and like, I think I hear something. So I think those that he was probably like, here, take a look at this. Do you hear something here? Do you hear something? Could have been something like that. That would explain why there's some overlapping times. It's like, I just sent you a clip. It's like, well, yeah, but you cut it off too soon. Oh, let me send you a longer clip. Something like that.
Or sharing with somebody and then expecting it to be kept between people, and maybe it wasn't. Yeah, something like that, maybe.
Hold on, sorry, my wife was calling at the same. This always happens. I'm on a live. It's like, hold on. If I search his name, sorry, Kane. I'm searching your name and trash.
Hi, Mittens for Kittens. Good
Camera.
to see you. All right. There's some stuff where he talked about the infrared capability of the cameras and stuff. He even sent me like because I bought the same camera almost as his. Mine was an 822. I think his is an 820. So it's very similar. Reolink camera. But he sent me like the stats for how far the infrared light would reach, which is like for both our cameras, it was like 100 feet. The camera emits a light, an infrared light. It's got like 16 little reddish lights that emit, And what about that?
Well, it was, it kind of, I think I probably emailed him because it was around the time it was getting, the popular talk was about the green Elantra. Was it a green Elantra?
Oh, the colors. Right.
Actually,
right.
and I hope I'm not the one who started that whole nonsense because of this little green notebook when I did a live with 12 gauge and this green looked white. And at the time, I didn't think anything of it. It's just first time really messing with the infrared camera.
Right. Yeah, I think I was there when you guys did that, but.
And then I don't have I used to have the little Matchbox cards and stuff. At the time, it didn't hit me. This is made of paper. So, of course, it's going to react differently than green metal. And so I couldn't get any of my green metal Matchbox cards to go white. Paper, no problem.
Interesting.
So unless the Elantra was made of paper, got a good theory. But other than that, it's a light colored, and it sounds like in the documents they did some testing to test light colored vehicles. There's some statements when they were talking about light colored or silver. It's like, oh, okay, they're aware that the infrared is going to, show.
Well, wasn't it written somewhere that the police even did a test drive with their little silver hybrid or something because it appeared tan colored in the
Yeah, I have a theory about that. I don't know if you know Open Mind Perspectives. Ever heard her videos? She was live, I think, once where she was talking about how she thought they turned the house orange. And I was like, no, the photograph you're looking at is color balanced for the LED light inside the house, which is bluish. And the street lights are more like tungsten color temperature, which is more orange. So if you want the colors in the house to look correct, you balance the camera for the tungsten light that is like a higher Kelvin color temperature, right? Does that make any sense? If you balance for the inside light, inside, the house looks orange. Yeah. And to the naked eye too. It can fool your eyes are constantly white balancing or adjusting. But if it's tungsten lights outside at night, they can give off an orangish hue. So a white car in the orangish light can look orangish or tan, especially if you're standing there looking at the house and it's LED lights that you're looking in that are shifting the color of your eyes because that's a bluish light. I mean, we do this all the time in photography for creative reasons. I used to love take night photography, and all the streetlights were so orange and warm. It looks really cool. And the flash is a higher color temperature, which is more like bluish, because the flash is meant for to be used at daylight without you having to mess with the color. It's one color, works great in daylight, and if you take pictures at night, streetlights are going to look very orange because it's shifted. But so I think I know a lot of people hate Brett Payne. I think he did a great job, and I think that shows that he was doing his due diligence to try and figure out, could this white car appear tan under this lighting condition? Why not go out and do a test? I mean, what do you? It's
but then we would have to say that Brian Koberger had red hair.
Yeah. I guess there was a witness. She saw somebody with red hair or something, spiky red hair or something like that.
I guess. Molly, the DoorDash driver, did.
But hey, here's this email. It says, regarding gaps in the 1320 dumpster footage, Indeed, there was a gap each night back then. The camera is the only one connected via Wi-Fi, and I was having problems with it going offline from time to time. So I put a cheap Christmas light timer that I had laying around on the Wi-Fi access point. The only device connecting to it, I'm sorry, in parentheses, it said the only device connecting to it is the 1320 dumpster camera. That could, okay, around on the Wi-Fi access point, that could only be programmed on-off in 30-minute increments. I had it power cycle the Wi-Fi in the wee morning hours, thinking that was the least likely time that I would need to refer to this footage. He was wrong about that. Remember that at that time, we were using the cameras to see when people were piling shit around the dumpster that they shouldn't, or for parking issues. We never thought the footage would be used in a murder investigation. I still power cycle the Wi-Fi, but shortly after the murders, I replaced the timer with one that could be programmed in minute increments. So he says that's probably what the deal is with the time gap. And he says, take care, Kane.
Okay. So that particular camera is not the one that you were showing me underneath the apartment thing, right? This is a different one?
No, that is the one I was showing you that was
I thought that was
on
a
the
hardwired, like, continuous surveilling, good camera.
The one at 1330, I believe, is, but this one,
So
this
the
one right
one-
here, yeah, this one right here, I think I've seen a picture of it better, and it's got, like, I think a little antenna sticking up off of it. So yeah, I think it's
Okay, so then the
closer.
one that's over the parking lot,
that one you can see the cabling. And I know my camera has like one cable, and inside the cable is like three cables. There's an Ethernet cable, a power cable, and then one other. But if you have something called, I think it's called PoE, yeah, power over Ethernet, you insert one of those, and then you can just use one Ethernet cable. It provides power and picture across one cable.
and the reason I was asking about this is because someone was having a discussion and they made it seem like that particular camera's footage would have been crucial to show. So then I was to show something. I can't remember what they were talking about, if it had to do with the DoorDash driver or just any cars that night. But to me, that video, when we watched the Linda Lane footage, it's only showing like that little chunk of the parking lot, right? You can see the upper level of the parking lot that's right in front of the apartments, and then there's that fence like you were talking about, and then kind of a lower, and then you can kind of see that edge of the road.
Right. You know, the best thing, can I pull up the Linda Lane archive? If nobody uses this site,
Yeah.
you should know about it. It's great. It's got all the Linda Lane footage.
I do think I stumbled upon that. I do have that.
Okay, so I'll stop sharing.
I will get
that.
better as I do these lives, like pulling things up and sharing and all that.
Oh, you're doing great. You're doing great. I know that the tricky thing for me sometimes was like getting audio with video. That's a little tricky on with StreamYard.
Right.
But yeah, here's a good example. Here's, excuse me. This is, 1330 Linda Lane on the left there. You see my mouse?
Oh wait, I have
Does it
to share it.
Oh,
right?
that's right. Yeah, you got to bring it up. I'm sorry.
That one.
Yeah,
Okay.
let me see if you see my mouse. It's pointing at this one. Is my mouse moving around?
I think I caught a glimpse of it, but I don't see it now.
Well, I'll just click on it.
Oh, right there. Yeah, I guess.
So that's the 1330 Linda Lane camera view, hardwired camera, and then this is the 1320 Linda Lane camera that is on the on the Christmas timer.
Okay, so that's why. Okay, so you guys, do you know what time? Do you know, Jeff? Like what time did he say it was?
What's that?
Rebooting or whatever.
Shoot, did I close that? Well, he just said it was on increments. What is every 30? Could be programmed on off in 30-minute increments. So he was cycling the Wi-Fi access point. He was cycling that every 30 minutes. So I don't know how long it takes for it to reboot and cycle, but that. And again, this is, you can hear the way he said it. This is just his guess as to what was going on.
Interesting. Because like when he says a Christmas timer, like I know we have our outdoor lights on one of those, right? So you can literally set like on for this, a
Right,
4-hour chunk of time they could be on, and then you can shut them off for 6 hours, and then they can come back on for a couple hours. Like there's ways to do that. It's just,
Oh, I see a question from
if it's
William.
like the most crucial time for that video, you got to admit that's a little like too coincidental.
Yeah, now there was another email where he said that he provided access to the FBI to his NVR. It's a network video recorder that had 30 days worth of footage from these cameras. So, and he made some comment like, and they were in there a while, so he assumed they probably just downloaded everything from those cameras. I mean, I would. I don't know. I wouldn't. What if you took like a week and then the very day before that week that he just happened to be visiting the area, or something like,
right.
damn, why did we think? So yeah, he said there was 30 days worth of NVR footage. William asked a question about the cameras being the same. I believe they're the same brand. I don't really know. The 1320 camera looks a little long, like more like a tube type shape, whereas the 1330 camera is very similar. Mine looks the same as the one there. That's why I bought it. I thought I bought the same exact one, but he said in an email what his model number was, and it's off by like one number. But the 1330 camera is very round, roundish looking.
And did you just happen to like reach out to him to like ask questions?
The whole reason I got connected with him is because I did not understand that Linda Lane was a dead end, that it's like an L and then dead ends. And I just wanted to get a better understanding of that. I thought that Linda Lane could come in, go past, and then connect and keep on going to the 1122 house.
Oh, I thought that too.
Yeah. So that's a dead end. It's a dead end right where the 1330 camera is. That's why you see that video at 12:27 where the 4 people are dropped off. And that car has to do a U-turn because there's nowhere to go. It's a retaining wall right there that blocks Linda Lane from the Queen Road apartments. It's a dead end. You got no choice but to turn around. I mean, you can walk and jump the fence, but.
So then what about right by the house? If you're driving past the house up where the trees are along, is that a dead end? Because I always thought that would loop around into like Linda Lane or something. That's not.
What I should show you. Right? You want to see a little video that I did with the little car on the map? Not trying to push my channel or anything, but just.
And I know I've watched people drive around this, but I don't remember.
Dang, I'm forgetting my own videos. I don't know where I put. Oh, it's this one right here.
William, when you
Thanks
say
for
a
checking out
passage, like
guitartricks.com.
Right? Sorry.
Okay, let me turn the sound off. You don't need the sound. Okay, if you bring this up, you'll see I did a little video that kind of shows a little car. A little tiny Elantra. So it's backstage ready for you to put up on screen.
Oh, sorry.
Okay.
William, I was just saying, when you say a passage, you mean like a walking passage, right? Or are you saying driving?
Yeah, you can walk from Linda Lane, to Queen Road
Right.
Apartments, yeah, and through that little parking lot. But this, maybe this will give you an idea of like the road. Let me see the little Elantra. So this is this It does a 407 pass too. So I was just kind of simulating what the car did at 405. Kind of sat there for 10 seconds and then backed up and went back the way he came. Let me go forward to the 407. Right, this is 405 leaving. Okay, so here's 407.
Okay, that's going
Coming.
away from the house.
Yeah, so where did I start that? Okay, sorry, here comes 407. So yeah, the house was, is here.
So that is not a
It's
dead
coming-
end. You keep going all the way around.
So
Okay.
this is like, I always call this like just a big old cul-de-sac, it's like a big, oval, so you can go around. And, at the time, this is where I was maybe assuming that maybe he parked. I don't think that anymore. I don't think that's the spot. I think I would say it's more on this corner right here.
Now, right where you just where you said that's where you thought he parked, that would be that's behind the house.
Right, yeah, Maddie's window is like right about here. You see my mouse pointer?
No, but right where you said this is where I thought he parked, does that keep going or is that a dead end?
This is a dead end parking lot over here.
Okay.
Yeah. It's got spaces that are along the top edge and along the bottom edge, along a wall.
Yeah.
Wait, if I pop this off, does that?
Okay.
Trying to see if I can see.
Thank you.
Yeah, so where the red logo is for my old buddy T-Rev. This is, you can tell this is back when I
God.
was working on his show.
I
I
know
thought that
who
was
it is.
clever. I came up with that as seen on T-Rev. I was so proud of that. And then we like had a falling out, and then I got with Detective John, and then we had a falling out, and then the history is just kind of funny. But I was so proud of that little logo. I thought.
That's funny.
But yeah, so you can't. Oh yeah, you can see the mouse. Yeah, so I thought he parked probably like here. If you think about it too, so this is the house, right? 1122. This
Right.
where the trees are. This whole wall has no windows whatsoever. So anybody parking right here would be free and know that nobody is going to look out a window and see their car there. So that's why I'm thinking this is probably the best place to park. Of course, the sliding glass door is over.
Sorry, isn't that the side of the house where they were claiming that tan car came out of? Is there isn't there, they call it
Is
the
a-
access road or something like that?
Yeah, this is a little road right here.
Okay.
It's a hill. It's a downward, pretty, kind of steep downward slope. But
Yes.
the wall that faces the Twinkies has no windows at all. So anybody parking here would know that their car is not going to be seen most likely by someone unless they came out onto the back balcony off of Kaylee's room. But I really think, if you park in the back parking lot here, I don't think you would even need binoculars to see. Maybe you would. The sliding glass door is like right here. And I have the same sliding glass door in my kitchen. And when I'm coming back from a walk with the dog, I can be like, a good distance away, and I can see that little lock lever on the sliding glass door, and I can know, okay, I got to walk around the front of the house because it's locked. So I think it's just something that I think of if he's thinking, is this the night to do something like this? And he looks and he sees that his door is unlocked. Who knows? How do we know that's not the deciding factor? It's like, I don't know. I've driven around this house 5 times. And you notice too, when he drove around 5 times, the 5th time was driven much faster than the previous 4.
That's
so
I
I don't know if his foot got
you can't
heavier.
see the sliding door from the road though, and that would be a big risk to walk back there just to check. I think your
Well, no,
mind
you
would
wouldn't have to get out of your
move.
car. You could just sit in the parking space and with your headlights hitting the back of the house, and you could see the sliding glass door lever, I believe.
I think it's more. Someone asked a good question that how could he see the lights go out? when you're in that area, I do know the house is like it doesn't sit perfectly square on any of these roads. It's especially that back balcony part is a little skewed.
It's 45
Yeah.
degree angle. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
The
so
back
you
sliding.
could see those lights like that side of the house, like that back side of the house. The sliding door. I think that would be. I
Well,
mean, I don't
maybe
know.
maybe that's what the boot prints that go around the tree stump. Maybe it was just the initial, maybe get out of the car, just walk around. If somebody says, "What the hell are you doing here?" It's like, "Oh, I'm sorry, I lost something at a party. I'll leave."
Then you have.
He hasn't done anything yet, right? So, and he's walking around and maybe gets a closer look to see the lever of this. If it's down, it's locked. If it's up, it's unlocked. If it's installed correctly. My sliding glass door, my kitchen door, was installed upside down, and I was about to do a video showing like maybe that's what was happening here, because when it's installed upside down and you lock it, all you have to do is take the handle and lift it up 2 inches and slide it right open.
I saw you, yeah,
Our
talk
lock
about
was like,
that on 12's channel, and I've got to tell you, I grew up with a sliding door that never. You couldn't count on it to always latch the right way. It gave me so much anxiety.
right, it's a
About
worthless
that.
lock
So
if it's upside down. Yeah.
now I have those bars that you put like the really security
Yeah.
recommended ones that go in the back of your
Yeah,
sliding
we have
door.
a long piece of wood, and we have a big dog, so I feel I feel safe. Yeah, it is kind of unsettling to think we were in this house for a couple years with the lock upside down,
Yeah, that's scary.
and I couldn't believe it. I mean, if it's all about that little, it's a little claw.
Mm-hmm.
If it's pointing downward, then it's locked, and then you just lift the door up and over. But if it's down, no amount of lifting up or down is gonna get it to unlock.
There's a safety tip for all you guys. Everybody go check your
That's right.
sliding
Check your
doors
doors.
and make sure that the latch is going the right way.
Yeah, make sure that claw should be facing up.
Seriously.
And I looked at a million different pictures that I could find of this sliding glass door and could never get a definitive answer. Yes, it's installed correctly. I think maybe recently you can see now, but maybe some of the more recent pictures. But back then it
Yeah.
was like, nope, nothing, you know. Even like when they come out of the sliding glass door and Kaylee is talking to the officer, it's like they'd never get a good enough view to be sure, that it's installed correctly.
Oh, of the door. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Hi, Christine, Nevada. Good to see you. All
Well,
right.
hopefully
Oh
I
my
had
goodness,
something
I've been
helpful
on here
for you.
like
And that,
2 hours. Thank you for coming up with
but
me. I
yeah, let
great.
me jump down. I know you got things to do. You're a busy person and stuff. But I appreciate being on here. Yeah, anytime you need anything, or get together with this would be fun to do a 12 gauge too. I love getting on a live stream with great people. So
Yep. We
alrighty
will
then.
make some things happen. This was my first long solo live, so this has been fun.
Cool. You've had people up on the panel though before, right? I'm not the first panelist, am I?
I think you are.
No way.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what's really satisfying to me? I was the first on Twizzle's live stream too. And now with the massive feud that we got going on, it's something about that is so satisfying.
Oh, that makes me sad.
But
makes
he'll
me
get
sad.
over it. All right.
Yeah.
All right, good to
Well,
see you
thanks
all.
again.
We'll do guitar with Kane next time.
Yes.
All right. All right. Have a great day. All
You
right,
too.
bye-bye.
Bye. Okay, everybody. We have talked about Noura Jackson and we looked at some photos with those footprints and we talked about the bottom of the van, shoe print, and you helped me get my bearings with the inside of the front of the house. And Jeff came on up because I needed my bearings. I just, the details about exactly where things are. Like I hear people say Linda Lane, I know what they're talking about. But when I'm trying to really envision in my head exactly maneuvering, And especially, I don't know if you guys watched the last discussion video that Carlos and I did where it was up a level. I think we leveled up in our passion. We didn't, fight or argue or anything, but now that we're getting, into it a little more, I want to really be specific about what I'm talking about. So, I think I've had a chance to say hello to everybody in here. I greatly appreciate Swamp Rose. I saw your comments about the dumpster and everything. I was not ignoring you. I saw that. If that is a video you have, I am going to go check that out and look at that, and then maybe I can do that next time. It'll probably be next week. Carlos and I will probably be making a video. He did say that he thought there was another show coming out tonight, like a Dateline or 48 Hours or something. So I think we're going to watch that and then talk about it. And then next week, I'm going to start doing these lives. I appreciate everybody. I hope you have a wonderful evening. I'm sure I will see you in the chats later on. And I'll see you next time. Bye.